grace, gold, glory. They're three of life's greatest treasures. Getting any one of the three in life is difficult. Getting all three is rare. It's rare, but it's not impossible. In fact, all of us, every one of us can acquire all three, but it never happens by accident. Obtaining grace, obtaining gold, and glory, it always starts with a choice to pursue best. Today's guest, she made that choice, and she has grace, she has gold, and she's experienced glory, Olympic glory. You might say she's an expert, and actually, she is. When it was time to title the book that details her life story, she chose the words grace, gold, and glory. Our guest today is three-time Olympic gold medal champion, Gabby Douglas. Gabby was born with incredible talent, but talent alone doesn't earn you grace, gold, or glory. She made a choice to become her best, and then she did what the best do. She created a plan to get there. She sacrificed to stay on track, and she worked tirelessly in pursuit of her dream. And of course, she overcame every obstacle along the way, and there were many: homelessness, poverty, injury, comparison, low expectations, and of course, criticism. At the age of 16, she won 2 Olympic gold medals, becoming the first African American to earn an all-around Olympic championship. At age 20, she once again helped propel the United States to another team gold medal performance. Now, at just 25 years old, Gabby's already written 2 books. She's been interviewed by Oprah, been on countless covers of magazines, and she had a movie made about her journey to best. And she's committed to do with her life what the best always do, to help others realize their full potential, you and I, so we too can obtain grace, gold, and glory. Today, Gabby Douglas is here to do what all who climb the mountain and become the best do. She's here to inspire you, to encourage you, and to challenge you to do the same. She's here to offer us a roadmap to help us obtain what she's obtained: grace, gold, and glory.
This is one of the most anticipated days in the Olympics, when one woman stands above everyone else. Enter Gabby Douglas.
What she does so well is she's very clean in the air.
She just has to do her thing. She just has to remember to stay focused.
We have got a real battle. But that was spectacular under the absolute glare of Olympic pressure. It's looking pretty golden for this girl right here.
That's going to be very, very hard to beat. And the best part about that performance was that smile.
And it's a Gabby gold.
Gabby Douglas, welcome to Personal and Professional Best.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, we are so happy to have you, and you've done so much in 25 years. It's amazing. So we want you to be able to take everything that you are and everything you've learned along the way and pour it into us, so we can, in our next, hopefully 25 years, we can do just as well, actually just become our best in our own journeys.
Hey, let's
So
do
why don't
it.
why don't we start here? Tell us the Gabby Douglas story before the world got to know Gabby Douglas.
Whew. So the Gabby Douglas story was very rocky. My story was very rocky from a young age. You know, as if anyone watched the movie, you know, we started off very rocky financially. We were not there. I didn't come from a very rich and, you know, in a background at all, you know. And I started gymnastics when I was about 6 years old. And my sister actually got me started. So when I was about 3, she was a gymnast and she started doing these cool moves and I wanted to learn them. And so by the end of the week, she taught me, and then I started teaching myself. And so she told my mom to put me in. I'm the youngest in my family. And so my mom was like, definitely not. But it took my mom almost 3 to 4 years to actually put me in the sport. And I was a show off when I was a kid, but I love to challenge myself. I love to do different cool tricks and just, be in motion. And so my first rec class, that's when I was 6. And then I just, I fell in love with it. And then ever since then, I just pursued gymnastics until I was an adult.
Wow. It's pretty amazing stuff. Your mom was the source in your life. It seems like the story is that mom became that voice in Gabby Douglas's life, both love, unconditional, and also accountability and challenging you. So what transcendent messages did she deposit in your life that will stay with Gabby Douglas for the rest of your life?
Honestly, I'm so grateful to my mother. I would not be here without her just constant pouring into me. She has, I can't even pick which advice that, that trumps the other, because it's just been such an abundance of wisdom in my life. And she's always taught me to go out there and fight for every single thing that you want, because nothing in life is ever going to get handed to you. You have to go out and fight and continue to fight and work so hard in everything that you do. And also too, just instilling in me just how words are so powerful and how they really do impact your life and everything around you. And I love this quote, your life is only as good as your mindset, right? Because it's so true. And if you wake up, I'm not going to do it, I can't do it. Your mind, your brain, your body believes the words that you're saying, versus if you wake up with the mentality of, I can do this, I'm gonna be a champion, I'm a winner, and anything. Your mind takes that and it receives it, and then you go out and do it.
Yeah, so talking to ourselves and telling ourselves good things about ourselves and encouraging ourselves. Most people think it's crazy to talk to ourselves, but most of the people I talk to that are at the top of their game in life, they always talk to themselves. Is that true?
You have to. I always talk to myself, because words, like I said, are so powerful, and we literally digest them, and our brains, our muscles, and every single thing just believes it. And so I talk to myself. I know a lot of people who talk to themselves, and not in a downful way, like I hate myself or like I can't, but like hype yourself up, motivate yourself, because your body literally will listen to you.
Yes, it will. Your mom ought to write a book about parenting, because people like mom, people like mom are, I just think it's so important to pour into our children so that they can discover their gift, maybe not gymnastics, but their gift, so that they can then do the best in life as a result of knowing what it is, discovering it, like your mom helped with you, and then also just pouring into you the love to encourage you and challenge you as well. When did you know? Like, is there a day when you knew and your mom knew and your coach knew that the possibility of someday getting on the world stage and winning, was there like a moment when you were like 10 or 11 and 12 where there was like this consensus where it was like, this might be possible for Gabby Douglas?
So my mom and my coaches at the time were on the same page. It took me a little bit. I feel like I developed in stages. It's so funny because I never believed in myself. I always thought that I was a mediocre gymnast. A lot of people didn't take me seriously as an athlete. They didn't think that I would amount to anything, and I believed them. And so I never, like I said, never took myself seriously as an athlete. It wasn't until the Olympics, like around the Olympics, where I went to this competition and I won unofficially because I was an alternate. But I thought in the back of my head, like, wow, I could really go to the Olympics and I could really win. But before that, if you'd have told me like you're going to win the Olympics, I would have been like, nope, that you have me mistaken. That's not me.
Well, one of the things that I think most people do in life that are pursuing best is they think about winning the Olympic gold medal. And it sounds to me like what I just heard you say, that you weren't really thinking about the medal. You were pouring into something that you loved and just pursuing becoming the very best at it. and then all of a sudden you show up and you're at the Olympics. Pretty cool.
Yeah, well, honestly, I didn't even think I was the best. Like it was something that I loved. I 100% loved, but like I said, I think at some point I just was kind of testing it and kind of going through the motions, but actually like sitting back because it's so interesting how you're in something and you don't see it. You don't see the fruits of your labor, your labor, you don't see it. And so I just remember everyone around me, like my host family, my coaches, my mom, like sit down and watch yourself. And that really helped me too as an athlete, because when I watched what I did and the beauty that I added to the sport, I was like, wow, like it is like, I don't think I suck. So it's also too to kind of just sit back and kind of zoom out and get the bird's eye view and say like, oh, wow, okay, like we can do this.
That host family and what happened with you and that host family during your training. To me, when I saw that and I read about that, I just think that's the best of us. Mm-hmm. When that takes place in our world and in our country, when someone just makes a sacrifice for another human being and welcomes you into their family and you become part of their family, that's when we really become the best that we'll ever be as people. They're pretty amazing folks.
Oh, yeah. No, 100%. And I was just so grateful for them. They are a part of my journey and my memories and my experiences. And I love them so, so much. And I also wouldn't have been here without them, because they have opened up their house and they have let me in, treating me as their own daughter. And it was just truly amazing, especially not knowing what you're going to get into, and inviting someone in your house is a very bold and courageous and hard thing to do. Not a lot of people do that. So I was just so grateful that not only did they open their home, but they literally treated me like I was one of their own, which was just phenomenal. And I literally thank them. I still do. I'm like, oh my gosh, like you guys, like you are amazing.
So you get on the world stage and everyone gets to see the finished product. Not that you were finished, but the gold medal winner, mm-hmm. right? They see it. I think a lot of people don't imagine it's possible for them, not about gymnastics, but in their area of life, whatever it is that they're pursuing to become the best. Mm-hmm. What does it take? What did a day in the life of Gabby Douglas look like in preparing? First of all, you had to move to go live with a family, to mm-hmm. be in a place to train. But then what does it look like every single day, the work that you had to do to become the best?
It's so interesting that you brought up that question, because we all see the finished product, right? Everyone sees the performances, the leotard, the glitz and the glam, but no one sees what's going on behind the scenes. And behind the scenes, it is a lot of hours. It is a lot of putting your body on the line. It's a lot of soreness and bruises and blood, sweat, and tears, literally. And so it took a lot. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't come for money. Gymnastics is very expensive. You have to pay for everything. So my mom had to work. My mom and siblings had to take on a lot of responsibility. My mom worked so many hours, and it takes a village. I couldn't have done it without my siblings, my mom, my coaches, the host family. But I went through a lot of challenges and obstacles, your normal wear and tear, injuries. Although I was very fortunate and grateful to not have too many serious injuries. I've never had surgery before. And I really thank the creator for that, because he has just kept me safe and protected during a dangerous thing. But it takes a lot of heart and tenacity, and not only talent, but hard work combined together.
Yeah, it's all those things that you're doing that no one else gets to see. They just see the finished product, and yep. People imagine, well, she's just that talented. But mm-hmm. most people don't understand the amount of hours, the amount of work, the amount of calluses, the amount mm-hmm. of sweat that went into becoming that gold medal winner. And if they're in their own journey, if people will make the sacrifices and do the work, they might indeed surprise themselves and win a gold medal in whatever it is that they're doing in their own lives.
No, it's true, because we all have talent within us and creativity. But we all have to have that fine tuning, right? Like when I was younger, like I was like, people were like, wow, this is talented. But then when you, like I said, zoom out and look at, wow, how much growth and beauty is in that, it's truly amazing. But I agree, like we all have that within us. And it's just like movies. You know, we all see the movie at the end of the day, but like the actors will show you behind the scenes, like, oh, they're hitting their heads and they have to make this scene look realistic. And like they're doing takes and takes and takes and takes, they're tired. So we don't see that, but you know, we see the finished product. But I think it is important to see that, because we all go through the same journey of those struggles and being tired and being sore.
That's right. Whether it's mortgage banking, the industry I'm in, or real estate, where most of the people, or gymnastics or movies,
Anything.
Anything you do in life, it requires a sacrifice to be made to become the best at it. And I think that's one of those things. It's not natural to do all that work. It's much more natural to just rely on your talent. But as you know, you don't get to stand on the podium unless you've done the work. You have to have talent, but you've got to do the work, right?
Yes, 100%. And I remember one time when I was training and I was going through the daily motions and my coach kicked me out. And I was just trying to figure out why, like, why am I getting kicked out right now? And he says, because I don't see you sweat. You're not sweating. And I'm like, what? And he says, talent will only get you but so far. But if you combine talent with hard work, you'll be unbeatable. Because when you have the talent, and I was getting complacent, I was getting lazy, and I wasn't working hard. I wasn't refining that talent. I wasn't paying attention to detail. And so he says, come back and tomorrow, let me see you sweat. And so I was like, oh, wow. Okay. And it's so true. Like hard workers would beat out talent any day.
I agree. You brought up complacency. In the back of our office here in Alpharetta, Georgia, we have a 30-foot sign that says complacency is the enemy of best.
Yep.
Because getting up every day, we have to be working at getting better, whether it's at being a husband or a father, or better at being a mortgage banker or a gymnast or a realtor. No matter, it's about not being complacent and about getting up and getting to work every single day with the pursuit of getting a little bit better every single day. So mom made a lot of sacrifices. You know, I'm fascinated by your siblings and what they gave up or what they had to give in support of Gabby.
They gave up a lot, and I am so grateful to have the siblings that I do today. They have given up so much and just have helped me throughout my entire journey. If I had a hard day, they would take me out and like, we'll have a good time, and they'll say, all right, just throw that day away. Let's just, you know, have some fun, because gymnastics is it's a very serious sport, not only, you know, emotionally, but also physically and mentally. And so they have helped me throughout my entire journey, pick me up from the gym, making sure I had food to eat. And so they have given up so much. They laid down their own talents and abilities and dreams so that I could achieve mine. And I can't even fathom that, because I like to lay down, which is the definition of love, to truly lay down yourself for another person. I'm grateful every single day for them.
Wow. Well, I am too, by the way, because the story of Gabby Douglas doesn't happen without your host family, doesn't happen without mom, doesn't happen without your siblings. And we all have gotten inspired now and blessed by your story because of the sacrifices. And I think you make an amazing point. There is no best without sacrifice for yourself. But also the greatest gift we could ever give another human being is to give up something of value of ourselves to make a sacrifice for someone else and expect nothing back in return.
Yep.
So, you know, again, I want, maybe we're going to have mom on the show next.
Hey, call her out.
Yeah, like one of the best moms in the universe, get her on, because we certainly need better parenting going on in our country. It's one of those things. People are so busy and distracted, and maybe they've got their own pain in their life, and so they just can't or don't pour in. And you know, God, it's so important to do so. Okay, so most people think folks like you get on stage, you were really talented, and they allow themselves to go into this place that well, she was just really lucky beyond the talent to have the talent. But if she only knew my story, she'd understand why I'm where I'm at and not getting very far along in my journey. Tell us about adversity that Gabby Douglas faced on the journey to get to the podium.
Wow. As I mentioned, like my life was never smooth. It was always rocky. You know, one day in the gym would be so amazing and the next day would be awful. And it was a very love-hate relationship. I would land my move and the next day I would fall on my face. And I think that I had to learn how to deal with these struggles and obstacles and really learn to take them and say, how can I take this and have it motivate me instead of having it defeat me? And I believe that we can all learn from our mistakes and obstacles. And I think too, it has made me stronger and thin skin and have thicker skin at the end of the day, and learn how to deal with tough situations, because the world is so, I don't even have words, but it is very, very hard. And so when certain situations come up, now I take that, what I've learned from my gymnastics career, and apply that to my daily life, because I have learned so much. But a lot of people will say, okay, what about my story? I have more, I have struggles, I have more than this. But, you know, for me, I had more struggles as far as financially and coaching situations than most athletes. But I was faced with a choice whether I was going to let this situation defeat me or whether I was going to, you know, arise and stand and have the power within me to defeat the situations. So it's really all about choices and what you're willing to do. Are you going to let this stop you, or are you going to are you going to go full force and say, I'm not going to let anything stop me?
You know, for people that have climbed the mountain like you and gotten to the podium, no matter what their discipline is in life, they all have faced adversity. The difference, I think, is this. You know, I tell people all the time, there's two types of adversity. There's wake up in the morning, make bad choices, unwise choices. And, you know, we tell people, don't punch yourself in the face. Don't do that to yourself, right? Because there's enough adversity outside of that world. The other adversities, whether it's injury, the other adversities, whether it's a routine that went bad, it's a little bit, for me, it's like, that's God's way of putting in our way something to bring out something better in us that would have never come out had it not shown up, had that adversity not shown up, because we learn how to overcome what is inevitable in every single one of our lives. That is, we will face adversity at some point. It'll be our own type of adversity, but we'll face it, and we need to overcome it if we're going to get to the podium someday. You are so cool. I just love talking to you. I really do. So okay. You're in London. So this is it. Your final routine you're about to do that's going to determine whether or not you're going to be the gold medal winner. Tell us what's going on with Gabby Douglas as you're putting the chalk on and as you're getting ready. Tell us what's happening with you.
Well, I was always taught to take every event by event, and so and to not focus on the event after. So if I fell or if I had a good performance, I can't think about it. And so when I hopped up to compete in the last event, I was thinking, this is my first event, because I can't think about all the other stuff. I can't think about the scores and the gymnasts. So this is my first event. I'm new, I'm fresh. Let's start it off. And all these thoughts, negative thoughts, were coming to me. You're going to fall, you're going to over twist, you're going to land on your neck. And so I just rebuked them and I said, nope, I'm not. And in that moment, I was faced with the choice whether to say, oh, you know, succumb to fear or rule over fear. And a lot of the times we are, and I agree with you, we are faced and we are met with these challenges and fear and obstacles, but what are you going to do about it? And so I was talking to myself in the chalk tray. I'm like, nope, it'll be a perfect pass. The pass is I'm going to stick it. Let's do this. And also too, like there was like a fire burning within me and like, no, like I refuse to accept that. And a lot of times we have the power within us to refuse things and not accept things and say, nope, no to you. I'm going to do this.
So you're talking to yourself again. There you go, right? In that moment. Hey, listen, I was probably more nervous for you than you were for you.
My mom will probably tell you the same thing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I mean, listen, most of us just love the Olympics, right? Because it represents one of the few times when, the walls of the world come down. And, we go and we compete, right? But we're proud of our athletes as Americans. And we're no longer blue or red states. We're just for, our folks, our peeps, right? And and it's a beautiful thing. And I'm so grateful that it's coming up again soon, because I think with all of the ills of the world, it gives us a place to go for a minute, if in our life, to where maybe we won't be as divided as it seems like some days we are now in our country. Maybe we'll all unite around what's happening. And there'll be some new stories made this year, of course, like there is every year. So when you stepped onto the podium, all right, you rebuked the fear, you stuck it, you killed it, and now you're going to get a gold medal around the neck, right? So tell me, when you get on the podium, what does that feel like?
It feels amazing. All the glory goes to God. He's blessed me so much, and oh man, it's a win-win situation. All the glory goes up to him and the blessings fall down on us, and it's very exciting.
It's such a surreal moment. And honestly, I don't even think I can put it into words because it didn't feel real. It literally felt like a Hollywood ending or a Disney story, how everything is like, it pans out in the end. And I just held the medal and I said, wow, and I had a flashback of just all the hard work and the dedication and blood, sweat, and tears went into this. And not only from me, but also from everyone else around me who had poured in so much in my career. And I just thought about that, this is my life and everything. This is it. Everything that I did, and also everyone else, is in this medal right here.
Listen, they've done a movie about you. You've been on Oprah. You've written 2 books. You got Olympic gold. You're and you're 25. This is unbelievable. What are you going to do with the rest of your life? You've done so much in 25 years. What are you going to do next?
That's such a deep question, because, and everyone struggles with purpose, and I myself as well. And doing something for so long, for 14 years, and I've been so grateful. But coming out of that, breaking from gymnastics has been challenging for me, because for so long I had someone tell me what to do and how to do it, and kind of like who to become and who to represent. And then coming out of that, I'm like, wow, what do I do? What is there? And I pray every single day to my Creator to guide me and lead my steps. And what does my life look like in your eyes? And how do I become the woman that you want me to be? What is my life supposed to mean outside of gymnastics? Because that's what I do, right? What I did. It's not who I am. And so for me, I'm trying to find that purpose and true meaning of life, of my life, if you will.
You're you're a lot of things that are amazing, but you're incredibly wise at 25 years old. Asking the Creator for what's next, as you and I both know, he'll ultimately tell you, and then you can take all of what you've learned in the past about becoming the best, winning the gold, and you could bring that with you. And I think that's really helpful for the folks that are watching today, because if you've had success at something in your life, in anything, there's joy that the joy that you have in doing it calls you to do the work so that you'll make the sacrifice. And that's where success lives, right? At the end of that, you can take that and you can move it into anything that's next. But the other wisdom that I just heard you say is about purpose. And I think most people struggle with purpose because they want things in life. They want to get stuff in life. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with having stuff in life, but if that's your purpose to just make a lot of money or to or to just win a gold, you miss out on the beauty of everything else that's going on in life. And so I want to ask you a question about this then, because we're talking about purpose. What is your definition of success in life?
My definition of success is the failures, is the mistakes, if that makes sense. Only because, you know, a lot of people define success and they say, oh, it's winning. Oh, it's, you know, some shoes. Oh, it's I got a new car. But I define success as the journey, as the lessons that teach us and that springboard us into the greater and bigger things versus materialistic stuff. And for me, and there's nothing wrong with, you know, if you want to buy something, but, and I'm just picking it back off of what you said, but if that is your ultimate destination, then I believe you're going to be very disappointed, because I myself have done that, have tried to find things and empty things that are of no benefit, and tried to fill myself with certain different things and cars and money and purses, and I still felt void. And I said to myself, how do I fill this void? And I went back to my source. But I define success as the lessons and even to the obstacles that just motivate us, if you will, and springboard us into our greater selves.
Wow, that's beautiful. Hey, I asked about purpose, and I know you're in that seeking season of your life where you're seeking God's advice. My prayer today is going to be that he doesn't have you move to Atlanta and get into the mortgage banking business competing against me. Now, if I will pray that if you'd like her to come and be my partner, I'd love for her to be my partner.
Hey, you know what? Me and my family are getting into real estate. So, I mean.
All right. So, yeah. So listen, let's just be partners. Okay. Let's not compete against each other. So I want you to tell our audience, if you were to give them advice, because listen, there's no one in our audience. And the reason we have this program is every single adult I've ever met, if you ask them, do you want to be your personal and professional best? It's a resounding yes, of course I do. If you ask them, do they have a life plan to become their best? The answer is different. It's, well, I don't quite have that. And I think the roadmap to best, you've helped describe it today, right? It's you got to pursue something that you love, and you've got to make the sacrifices, and there's pain along the way and adversity along the way. And you got to overcome it. You got to conquer it to get to the top of the mountain. And no matter what the discipline is in life, if you were going to talk to your siblings, your best friend today, imagine we're your best friend. Tell us, if we ask you the question, because this is the question, if I want to become my best at home, in the workplace, what is Gabby Douglas, who has now climbed the mountain, become one of the best? What advice would you give me, people that you loved, to become our best?
I would say it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a lot of guts, courage, and boldness. But I will also say is it a grueling process? It 100% is, but is it worth it? Yes, it is. And I would tell you to never limit yourself because of other people's limited expectations. And I just think about my overall journey. If I would have limited myself to what people were saying about me, I wouldn't have been given this amazing platform, which I'm super grateful, and listen to all the doubters and negativity, I wouldn't be here today. So I would tell you and everyone else to not limit yourself, because sometimes people are tunnel vision. They can't see the whole entire thing, but we only have one life. We only have, this one body. So go out there and have the heart, the passion, the talent, leave everything out. Whatever you're doing, leave it and leave your soul into your crafts. Because if you work for it, it will work for you. And so you just have to have the discipline and the heart to go out there and fight for what you want.
Hey, listen, you're amazing. We'd love to stay in touch, because we'd love to see what the rest of Gabby's life looks like. And we're hoping and praying that you'll have just as much success in the future, and we trust you will, no matter the endeavor. Thank you so much, and God bless you. And thank you for leaving us with amazing memories at the Olympics and also here today, Gabby.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure.
Wow. Gabby Douglas, what a treasure. She is the very embodiment of grace, gold, and glory. Here are my biggest takeaways. Being gifted with unique talent is a tremendous blessing, but talent alone never takes you to the Olympic stage. The road to a championship requires talent, but more important than talent, the road to best requires hard work, discipline, perseverance, and faith. Second, the people you surround yourself with, they matter. Gabby had a mother and siblings who made tremendous sacrifices to help her achieve her Olympic dreams. She had a coach and a host family that modeled for all of us what it means to love your neighbor. Your team matters. Third, the words we tell ourselves, they matter as well. There will always be critics, naysayers, armchair quarterbacks, quick to criticize everything you do and are eager to see you fail. A champion develops a mantra, positive words that they say to themselves over and over to drown out the negative noise. And finally, as Gabby shared with us today, never limit yourself because of other people's limited expectations. Champions, they set big goals. They write them down. They stick them on the walls. They share them with others, and they pursue them against all odds. When Gabby Douglas lowered her head to receive her Olympic gold medals, they weren't just for her. She received them on behalf of her family, her coaches, her teammates, her host family, and yes, an entire nation that made it possible. Tomorrow starts the 2020 Olympic Games. The very fact that they are starting on July 21st, 2021, not 2020, is a reminder to all of us of the adversity that we faced as a result of the global pandemic, COVID-19. In many ways, the adversity of COVID has shown us the best of America. Healthcare workers who risked their own lives to provide care for all of us. Scientists who raced against the clock and developed vaccines in record times. Small business owners who worked tirelessly to keep their businesses afloat and to keep our economy moving forward. And finally, a nation that came together and shared sacrifice to battle an unseen enemy. However, as we all witnessed, the pressure cooker of forced isolation, what also highlighted the challenges our nation is facing. Alcohol sales skyrocketed. Divorces, they did too. Depression and suicide skyrocketed. Racial tensions, they escalated. And a presidential election brought out the worst in many of us who have seemingly forgotten the wise words spoken by President Abraham Lincoln during another period of national crisis. A house divided against itself, it cannot stand. So what can we do about it? Throw up our hands, throw out the flag, or resolve ourselves that just like you and me, our nation is flawed. But we can complain about what's wrong with our nation, or we can do what the best do. We can invest ourselves to make our nation better. It's time to recommit ourselves to the incredible mission statement laid out in the founding of our nation. It's time to recommit ourselves to forming a more perfect union. Will we ever achieve perfection? Not a chance. Can each one of us do our part to help form a more perfect union? Absolutely, that's what the best do. All right, step one, here's what we should do, the best. We should watch the opening ceremonies of the 2020 Olympics tomorrow with a different lens. As the athletes from around the world march into Olympic Stadium in Tokyo, Japan, take notice of this existential truth. Almost every other nation's athletes will look very much the same. Their nationality is inseparable from their ethnicity. Then, watch when the American athletes walk into the arena. Kaleidoscope of ethnicity, whose nationality is only identified by the colors that truly matter: red, white, and blue. E pluribus unum, out of many, one, the best. Step 2, adopt the creed that each of us at Supreme Lending has adopted. I'm for everyone. I'm not for everything, but I'm still for everyone. We all can be for each other, even if we don't agree with each other. In fact, we won't. The best. Step 3, recommit yourself to do your part to help our nation achieve the goal of our founding fathers. That is, to form a more perfect union. With that mindset, we can best celebrate the accomplishments of our diverse athletes who are all sharing in the Gabby Douglas legacy. Big dreams, hard work, overcoming adversity, and a demonstration of talent that pushes the boundaries of human performance. Condoleezza Rice, another leader who embodied grace, gold, and glory. She shared these profound words: the essence of America, that which really unites us, is not ethnicity or nationality or religion. It's an idea. And what an idea it is, that you can come from humble circumstances and do great things. Sign me up. We started 2021 with a theme for the year: building a championship season at home and in the workplace, everywhere with everyone. This program, Personal Professional Best, is designed to bring you inspirational voices who have done just that. Today, Gabby Douglas has offered another example of what it takes to truly become a champion. Next month, we'll be bringing you another incredible guest. While Gabby Douglas is herself a champion, next month's guest, he's a championship maker. That's right, we'll be joined by one of the GOATs, greatest of all time, and one of my all-time heroes, University of Alabama head football coach, Nick Saban. Check out this preview of the best wisdom from the best coach of all time.
There's something that I know I'm supposed to do that I really don't want to do. Can you make yourself do it?
Well, I think first of all, you got to establish a culture, in your organization where, first of all, everybody's willing to work together, be a team.
To me, it starts with, you got to have a vision. You got to have a vision for what you want to accomplish in your organization. So it doesn't really matter what you want to accomplish or what you want to do. You have to have a vision for it, and then you have to understand, here's a defined process of things that we need to do to be able to accomplish this.
Everybody wants to be number one.
Of course.
Then on this big screen, he puts this tiger, like a ferocious looking tiger. And he said, everybody wants to be the beast, but everybody doesn't want to do what the beast does.
But the most important thing and where people fail the most is you have to have the discipline to execute it every day.